The stranger in the forest. It was a quiet night in the small town of Maplewood. The sky was dark, and only the moon gave light to the forest. A cool breeze moved through the trees. Emily, a young woman with short brown hair and a curious heart, walked alone on a narrow forest path. She often came here when she wanted to think. Tonight felt strange, though. The air was colder than usual, and the animals were silent. Emily stopped walking and looked up. Suddenly, a bright light flashed across the sky like a shooting star, but it was too close, too fast. A loud boom followed, shaking the ground. Birds flew out of the trees in panic. Emily gasped. "What was that?" she whispered. She ran toward the sound. After a few minutes, she reached a clearing. Smoke rose from the ground, and something had crashed into the earth. A small crater had formed. In the middle of it lay a strange-looking man. He wasn't wearing normal clothes. His suit looked like silver armor with glowing lines. His hair was white, but his face was young. His skin had a soft golden tone. Emily stepped closer, heart beating fast. The man opened his eyes. They were bright blue, almost glowing. "Are you okay?" she asked, unsure if he could understand her. The man sat up slowly. He looked around like he didn't know where he was. "Where am I?" he asked, his voice low but clear. "You're in Maplewood," Emily said. "That's a town in North America, on Earth." He blinked. "Earth? Yes, I remember that word. Do you need help? Are you hurt?" He touched his head. "I don't know. I feel strange." Emily looked behind her. She knew someone might come soon to check the crash. She couldn't explain what she was seeing, and somehow she didn't want this strange man to be found by the wrong people. "Come with me," she said. "You can't stay here." He nodded, still confused, and stood up. He moved slowly, like his body was weak. Emily helped him walk. They left the crash site and moved through the trees, careful and quiet. After some time, they reached Emily's family farm. She lived there alone after her parents passed away. There was an old barn behind the house. She opened the door and guided him inside. "This is the safest place for now," she said. He sat down on a blanket. The lights on his suit were fading. "What's your name?" she asked. He looked at her with tired eyes. "I don't remember." "Then I'll call you." She thought for a moment. "Zarin. It sounds like it fits." Zarin nodded slowly. "Zarin? Okay." Emily gave him some water and an old blanket. She had so many questions, but she didn't want to push too hard. He looked exhausted. "I'll be back in the morning," she said. "Don't leave, someone might see you." Zarin didn't reply. He was already falling asleep. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. She looked out her window, thinking about the glowing man in her barn. He was not from Earth, she was sure of it. But he seemed lost, confused, harmless. The next morning, she brought him food. He was awake, sitting quietly. "Thank you," he said as he ate. "You are kind." Emily smiled. "You're welcome." But peace didn't last long. Later that day, black cars drove into town. Men in black suits came out. They had no badges, but they said they were from a special government branch. They asked questions about the crash. Emily listened from the corner of a shop as one man said, "A dangerous alien fugitive may have landed nearby. If you see anything strange, report it immediately." She felt cold. "Dangerous?" she whispered. That night she returned to the barn quickly. Zarin looked better. He stood near the window watching the stars. "They are searching for me," he said before she could speak. "They fear what they don't understand." "You're not dangerous, are you?" Emily asked. Zarin didn't answer right away. He turned to her and held out his hand. A small bird had broken its wing near the barn. Zarin touched it gently. A soft glow came from his palm. The bird moved. It stood up and flew away. Emily stepped back in shock. "You healed it?" Zarin looked at his hand. "I don't know how, but I know this power is not for war." Emily stared at him, heart racing. She had no idea what she had just become a part of, but she knew one thing for sure. Zarin was not human, and now, her quiet life was over. Secrets and lies, Emily didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the house, every passing car made her heart race. The image of Zarin healing that bird with a glowing hand stayed in her mind like a fire that wouldn't go out. Who was he? What kind of power did he have? And why were strange government men hunting him? The next morning, she made her way to the barn before sunrise. Zarin was already awake, standing in the shadows near the window. He didn't sleep much. His eyes were calm, but distant, like he was thinking 1,000 things at once. "You healed that bird," she whispered, "with your hand, with light." Zarin turned to her slowly. "Yes. You have to tell me the truth. What are you?" "I don't know everything yet," he said. "Pieces come back in flashes, sounds, images. But I remember this. I wasn't sent here to destroy, I was sent to protect." Emily frowned. "Protect Earth from what?" He looked at the sky. "From what's coming." She stepped closer. "You said your name is Zarin. Is that your real name?" He shook his head. "You gave me that name, but it feels close to my true one." Emily sat down on a crate near him. She watched him, carefully. "I need to know what you are, Zarin, because men in black suits are in town. They're asking questions. They said you're dangerous." Zarin didn't react. "They fear what they cannot control. They always do." Emily's voice dropped. "So are you dangerous?" Zarin looked her in the eyes. His own eyes shimmered faintly. "Only to those who threaten life. You are not in danger from me, Emily." For a moment, the barn was silent, just the sound of wind pushing against the wooden walls. Then Emily asked, "What do you remember?" Zarin closed his eyes. A flash of pain crossed his face. "I remember a council, tall beings with silver robes. I stood before them, and I spoke against something. A mission. A plan to burn Earth before the invasion. I refused." He opened his eyes. "And then they betrayed me." Emily's hands trembled. "So you're a soldier?" "No," Zarin said. "A prince." Emily blinked. "A prince?" "I was born into a line of protectors, not rulers of people but guardians of planets. Earth was one of the last. My duty was to defend it, not conquer it. But others, those who sit in power, they wanted war. They wanted Earth's energy, its core, its water. They didn't care about the humans." Emily's breath caught. "You were supposed to stop them?" "Yes," he said. "But when I refused to destroy Earth's defenses, they sent assassins. I escaped, barely. My ship was damaged. I crashed here." She sat back, stunned. The story was impossible, and yet, he had glowing hands. He fell from the sky. Men in black were chasing him. Every crazy piece fit. She whispered, "Why me? Why did I find you?" Zarin looked at her. "Maybe fate, or maybe your heart was open. I felt it, even before I woke." That night, Emily went back home confused and scared. Her phone buzzed, texts from friends asking why she was missing school, why she looked so pale, why men in suits were asking about her. She didn't reply. Instead, she stared at her reflection in the mirror. She was just a normal girl, no powers, no spaceships, just a human. Yet somehow she was hiding an alien prince in her barn, one who might be the last chance Earth had to survive. The next morning, Emily's life got more complicated. She walked into town for groceries. Two of the black suit men were already there, standing near the bakery. One of them saw her and walked over. "You're Emily Rivers, right?" the man asked. His voice was too polite. "Yes," she replied. "We're following up on reports of an object falling from the sky 2 nights ago. Strange activity, lights, sounds. You haven't seen anything unusual, have you?" Emily forced a small smile. "Like UFOs? Nope, just squirrels and raccoons." The man stared at her as if trying to read her thoughts, then he smiled back. "Good. Let us know if you remember anything." Emily walked away fast. Her hands were shaking. That evening, she ran back to the barn. "They're getting close," she told Zarin. "We don't have much time." Zarin stood tall. His body seemed stronger now. The lights in his suit had started to glow again, just faintly. "I cannot run forever." "So what do we do?" Emily asked. "If they find you, they'll lock you up, or worse." Zarin looked serious. "If I stay hidden, they'll find me. If I leave, Earth is unguarded. There's only one way I can blend in if I become part of this world." Emily frowned. "What do you mean?" Zarin stepped closer. "A bond. A human connection. Your people. Respect marriage, legal protection. If I marry a citizen and it may give me time." Emily's heart skipped. "You're asking me to marry you?" "It would protect me, at least from Earth's laws, and in return, I will protect you and your world." She stared at him. "This is crazy. We just met." "I know," Zarin said, "but we don't have time. And you are the only one who has shown me kindness." Emily didn't answer right away. Her mind was a storm. But deep inside, something whispered, "This is bigger than you." "Say yes?" She finally nodded. "Okay, we'll do it." Zarin bowed his head. "Thank you." That night, under the stars, they held a quiet ceremony in the barn. Emily found her grandmother's old wedding ring. Zarin took a small piece of glowing stone from his suit and shaped it into a second ring. They exchanged promises, half real, half made up, but full of meaning. The moment the rings touched, Zarin's mark glowed brighter than ever. Emily stepped back, stunned. "What's happening?" she asked. Zarin looked down at the glowing mark on his chest. "They know, the others, the ones hunting me. My bond has been activated." Outside, a satellite shifted in space. A hidden signal blinked. A ship changed course. They were coming. The alien proposal, the night after the secret. Wedding was anything but peaceful. Emily stood outside the barn, staring up at the sky. The stars looked the same, silent, distant, but she knew better now. Somewhere above those stars, someone had seen the signal. Someone was coming. Inside the barn, Zarin sat with his eyes closed, focusing, listening, to something Emily couldn't hear. "What's happening?" she asked softly, stepping in. Zarin opened his eyes. "The bond we formed, it sent a pulse, not just across this planet, across space. My enemies know I'm alive." Emily's stomach twisted. "So now they're tracking you?" "They already were," Zarin said. "But now they know I've bonded with a human. They will see that as weakness. They will come faster." Emily paced back and forth. "This was supposed to keep you safe." "It bought us time," he said. "But not much." She stopped walking. "What do we do now?" Zarin stood. His body seemed stronger each day. His voice, calmer. He was becoming more than a crash survivor now. He was beginning to sound like a leader, like a prince. "I must recover my ship," he said. "It holds something powerful, something they cannot get." Emily shook her head. "But the crash site's being watched. Those agents are everywhere." Zarin walked to her and took her hand. "Then we go at night." That night, while the town slept, Emily drove a beat-up pickup truck toward the woods. Zarin sat beside her, now wearing a hoodie and sunglasses to cover his glowing eyes. It didn't help much, but it was better than silver armor. They reached the crash site before midnight. The area was surrounded with cameras, lights, and soldiers in black gear. A strange machine was scanning the ground. The crater had been covered, but the energy signature still lingered. Emily whispered, "We'll never get in." Zarin didn't answer. He walked quietly to the edge of the trees and raised one hand. Pulse of blue light shimmered from his palm and spread like fog over the area. The lights near the crater flickered, then shut down. Cameras went dark. The guards stopped moving. Emily gasped. "What did you do?" Neural disruption, he said calmly. They'll sleep for 6 minutes. No more. They ran. At the center of the crater, half buried in dirt and rock, was a small black cube. It didn't look like a spaceship. It looked like a puzzle box, humming quietly, glowing along its edges. Zarin pressed his hand to it. The cube unfolded slowly into a small pod, just big enough to stand inside. Emily stepped back, stunned. This was your ship? It was only the core, he said. The rest was destroyed. But this is what they want. Zarin reached inside and pulled out a crystal, bright blue, shaped like a teardrop, pulsing with energy. This is called the Heart of Kethra, he explained. It's a power source. It can create life or destroy it. Emily stared at the glowing crystal. And it's just been sitting here? They've been searching for it, Zarin said. Now we must hide it. Suddenly a voice echoed through the woods. Step away from the object. Bright spotlights snapped on. Dozens of agents surrounded them. They carried weapons Emily had never seen before, sleek, silent, deadly. One man stepped forward. The same, one who had questioned her in town. We knew you'd return, he said. The alien is coming with us. Emily stood in front of Zarin. He hasn't done anything wrong. The agent's eyes narrowed. That's not your call. Zarin looked at her, then whispered, Do not fight. Let them take me. What? No. I need to see what they know. Trust me. Before she could stop him, Zarin raised his hands and stepped forward. The agents moved in, put strange cuffs on him and pushed him into a black vehicle. They drove off in seconds. Emily stood in the silence, her hands shaking. The heart of Kethra was still in her pocket. She had to run. She had to keep it safe. They took Zarin to a secret underground facility. Bright white walls, no windows. Machines scanned every part of his body. Wires were connected to his skin. A man in a lab coat stepped forward. Tell us what you are. Zarin didn't speak. Another agent leaned in. We saw what you did at the crash site. You shut down half our tech. That kind of power. What's the source? Still, he said nothing. They shocked him. The room filled with the smell of burning circuits and the sound of static pain. But Zarin didn't scream. He just closed his eyes and focused. Back at the barn, Emily didn't sleep. She placed the glowing crystal inside an old music box and locked it tight. She stared at it for hours, wondering if she'd made the biggest mistake of her life. The next morning, a soft knock came at her door. She opened it slowly. An old man stood there, white beard, wrinkled face, sharp eyes. You're Emily Rivers? He asked. Yes. Who are you? My name is Dr. Calvin Horn, he said. 30 years ago, I worked with a man just like the one they took from you. He saved my life. And now, I think I'm supposed to save his. Emily blinked. How? Do you know? The old man smiled and pulled a small crystal from his coat, identical to the one she was hiding. Because he gave me this, the man said, and said one day someone else might need it. Meanwhile, in the underground facility, Zarin opened his eyes. The room around him flickered like static. He smiled, weakly. They're already here, he whispered. And you are not ready. Far above Earth, hidden behind the moon, 5 massive ships shifted into view. Invasion had begun. The capture. The world didn't know it yet, but the countdown to invasion had already begun. Emily stood in her kitchen staring at the strange old man who claimed to know Zarin. Her heart was beating fast. You worked with someone like him? She asked. Dr. Calvin Horn nodded slowly. He wasn't called Zarin back then. He had many names, but the energy, the eyes, the crystal, I remember it all. Emily pulled out the heart of Kethra, hidden inside the music box. The soft blue glow lit the room. Horn's eyes widened. So it's true. He bonded with you. What does that mean? Emily asked. The old man sat down. It means you're linked now, not just by law or emotion, but by something deeper. That crystal is a piece of him. It protects you, but it also makes you a target. Emily swallowed hard. Then we have to get him back. He let them take him, but now he's trapped. You're right, Horn said. And they'll never let him out alive. Inside the facility, Zarin hung suspended in a gravity field, arms stretched out, glowing wires attached to his skin. The white room around him buzzed with quiet power. Scientists moved behind glass walls, watching him like he was an animal in a cage. One of them whispered, "He hasn't eaten. He hasn't blinked. How is he still alive?" Another replied, "He's more than alive. He's charging." In a hidden observation room above them, Agent Brookstone, the man in black who led the capture, stared at the monitors. "I don't trust him," he said. "He let us take him too easily." The lead scientist, Dr. Vance, stepped forward. "This may be the only chance we have to study an alpha species. We're learning more in 24 hours than in 50 years of alien signals." Brookstone's jaw tightened. "Learn faster. If those ships come, we'll need to know how to kill him." The infiltration plan back at the barn, Emily studied blueprints of the underground facility that Dr. Horn had stolen years ago. "We can't just walk in," Emily said. "We won't," Horn replied. "We sneak in, through the old utility tunnels. They were never sealed properly." "Won't they be guarded?" "Of course. That's why we bring a distraction." Emily stared at him. "What kind of distraction?" Dr. Horn smiled. "Something loud." That night, Emily packed the crystal in a lead-lined box. Horn rigged an old military van with EMP charges and pulse grenades. He wasn't just a retired scientist. He used to build weapons for Earth's secret defense program. Emily looked at him with new eyes. "You're more than just some old man, aren't you?" "I was," he said quietly. "Now I'm just finishing what I started." Zarin's mind inside his cell, Zarin closed his eyes and drifted. He was not sleeping. He was reaching. He sent out pulses of thought, into space, into hidden satellites, into minds he once knew. One signal reached his brother. A voice answered in his head. "So you live, brother, but not for long." Zarin replied calmly, "I will stop you. You already failed. Earth is weak, and now it will burn." Zarin opened his eyes slowly. The lights around him dimmed. The walls cracked slightly. The guards outside stepped back. What was that sound? Zarin whispered one word to himself. Emily. The break-in at 3:17 a.m. Emily and Dr. Horn reached the outer edge of the facility. Rain poured from the sky, washing mud over the entrance tunnel. Emily slipped once but caught herself. Her heart raced, not with fear, but purpose. They reached a sealed grate. "This is it," Horn said. He pressed a detonator. The EMP exploded silently. Inside, lights flickered, screens glitched, and alarms temporarily froze. They crawled into the tunnel. Halfway through, they heard footsteps. Guards. Horn handed Emily a small device. "If I don't make it, you keep moving. Find him. Get him. Out." Emily shook her head. "No way. We do this together." Two guards appeared. Without hesitation, Horn threw a pulse grenade. Blue light exploded, and the men fell unconscious. They ran. The rescue in the main lab. Alarms suddenly flared. "Security breach, level 3. Brookstone slammed his hand on the console. "Lock down the specimen." Inside the chamber, Zarin's eyes opened again, this time glowing bright white. The cuffs around his arms shattered. He dropped to the floor like lightning and moved before the guards could blink. One push sent a soldier flying across the room, but he didn't kill. He didn't even injure unless forced. He moved toward the door until he felt her. "Emily," he whispered. Then she appeared, breathless, mud on her boots, the box in her hands. He smiled. "You found me." "I said I would," she said. He reached out. She handed him the box. As soon as his fingers touched the heart of Kethra, the room pulsed. Monitors shattered. Walls cracked. Every sensor short-circuited. Then, silence. Zarin looked at her. They're coming, I have to stop them, but I can't do it alone. She nodded. Then you won't. Far above Earth, the fleet of alien warships approached, but one of them broke away. A small craft. Inside was a masked figure. Zaren's brother. He looked out at Earth. She chose him, he said. A mistake she'll regret. Behind him stood an army of warriors ready for war. He gave one order: prepare to land. The invasion begins. The skies were quiet. Too quiet. At 4:02 a.m., every satellite in Earth's orbit blinked off. Global communications crashed, GPS systems froze, planes were grounded, military radars went dark, and then the sky opened. From behind the moon, 5 massive alien warships appeared like shadows swallowing the stars. Silent, smooth, black as space itself. Their engines made no sound, only a deep vibration that rattled bones and cracked windows across cities. The invasion had begun. Zaren's warning deep beneath the surface. Inside the hidden facility they had just escaped, Zaren stood with Emily and Dr. Horn beside the ruined lab. Zaren's voice was cold, controlled, but his eyes burned. They've come earlier than expected, he said. Emily looked at the monitors. Static, now. Can they see us? Zaren shook his head. Not yet, but they will. My brother, he's here. I felt his presence the moment the ships entered orbit. Dr. Horn muttered, Your brother? The one who wants Earth destroyed? Zaren's hands clenched. Yes, he's not just a soldier. He's the commander of the Dark Crown. His mission is to extract Earth's core and wipe out all resistance. And you think we can stop him? Emily asked. Zaren looked at her. We must. Earth reacts. Around the world, people stared up. At the skies in fear. Massive dark shapes hovered above oceans and cities. Every government scrambled jets and missiles, but nothing worked. Rockets were deflected. Drones crashed mid-air. It wasn't a battle. It was a display of power. At the United Nations, leaders screamed over each other. Some called for peace. Others called for nuclear strikes. But the truth was clear. Earth was not prepared. Zaren's plan. Emily, Zaren, and Dr. Horn returned to the barn. But now it was more than just a hiding place. Zaren activated the heart of Kithra. A hidden panel in the barn floor opened, revealing a small alien terminal, something Zaren had planted long ago, before he lost his memory. A forgotten safe house. He placed the crystal inside. Suddenly, blue light filled the space. A hologram appeared, an image of Earth wrapped in alien script, surrounded by glowing red dots. They are placing extractors, Zaren said. Machines that will drill into Earth's crust and pull energy into their ships. How long until they start? Emily asked. Zaren's face darkened. They already have. Dr. Horn studied the display. Then we don't have weeks, we have hours. The council's warning as the crystal hummed, a strange voice echoed from it. It wasn't human. It was the Kethran Council, a memory stored in the heart. Their message was thousands of years old. If this message is activated, it means the Defender has failed, or been betrayed. Earth's fate now lies in the hands of its people. If they cannot rise, they will fall. Zaren bowed his head. I was chosen to defend this world, but I was too late. Emily touched his hand. Maybe you weren't. Maybe you were just waiting for the right moment. He looked at her. Something changed in his eyes. Hope. Emily's gift later that night. Zaren trained in the barn, trying to focus his energy. Emily sat nearby, watching. The crystal floated between them. It pulsed once, and then something strange happened. It rose from the air and floated toward her. Zaren? She asked, nervous. Zaren turned and gasped. The heart of Kethra had chosen her. The crystal touched her chest, and in a flash of blue light, a symbol appeared on her skin, not a mark of power, but of connection. Zaren knelt beside her. The heart recognizes you. You're now a keeper. What does that mean? It means you can control the ancient network, the defenses of Earth, hidden by the Kethrans long ago. You are now a beacon. Emily's breath caught. A what? A signal, Zarin said, to call allies. The signal with Zarin's guidance, Emily held the crystal and activated the beacon. High above Earth, a ripple spread across space. Somewhere in the deep black, two smaller ships turned toward the ripple. One ship's pilot, a creature made of glowing veins and silver armor, smiled. The prince still lives, it said, and the heart has chosen a human. The brother arrives. At sunrise, Zarin's brother landed. Not in a ship, but in a living armor suit shaped like a black serpent. He dropped from the sky like a god, landing in the middle of Washington, D.C. without making a sound. People screamed. Soldiers opened fire. Bullets bounced off his armor like water. He raised one hand and the Washington Monument cracked in half. Then he spoke. His voice carried into every mind on Earth. Your world belongs to us. Your guardian failed you. Kneel. Or burn. Zarin watched the news feed in silence. I know where he'll go next, he said. He's baiting me. Then we fight, Emily said. Zarin looked at her, serious. Emily, if I fight him, I may not return. She didn't flinch. Then take me with you. As the sky turned red from the extractor beams, Emily stood with Zarin at the edge of a hidden launch platform. Dr. Horn powered up an ancient Kethran ship, small, fast, and built for war. Zarin placed a hand on the controls. He'll come, for the heart. Emily looked at the glowing crystal on her chest. Let him. The ship blasted into the sky, heading straight toward the center of danger. And above them, the alien prince's brother stood waiting, smiling. Earth's final defender high above Earth, where the sky turns from blue to black, a small alien ship cut through the clouds like lightning. Inside it stood two figures. Zarin, no longer a broken prince but a focused warrior, and Emily, no longer an ordinary girl but the bonded keeper of the heart of Kethra. She held the crystal close to her chest, its glow steady and strong. She wasn't afraid anymore, not of war, not of the alien army, not even of death. Beside her, Zarin tightened his grip on the ship's controls. His armor had changed, reacting to her presence. It now shimmered with streaks of blue, matching the light from her heart. This is it, he said. We face him now. No more hiding. Emily nodded. Let's finish what they started. Arrival in the ruins. The ship descended into a ruined city, once called Washington, D.C. Now it was nothing but broken buildings and smoldering craters. Alien extractors drilled into the ground like mechanical insects. Earth's defenses were gone. The skies were dark. Zarin landed the ship in the shadow of a collapsed tower. The air felt heavy. Time itself seemed slower. He's close, Zarin whispered. Emily could feel it too. A pressure inside her head. Not pain, just weight. As if someone was watching from inside her mind. The showdown begins from the fog. A tall figure stepped forward. He wore black, serpent-shaped armor that moved like it was alive. His eyes glowed red. Zarin stepped out from the ship and faced him. Brother, he said calmly. The Dark Prince smiled. Still protecting the weak? You never learn. Emily stepped beside Zarin. Earth is not weak. The brother's eyes narrowed. So this is the human who holds the heart, the one you bonded with. How tragic. You traded your empire for love. Zarin's voice sharpened. I didn't fall. I rose. The air cracked with energy. The two brothers moved at once. Zarin leapt forward, a beam of blue light forming in his hand. His brother countered with a blade of pure shadow. They clashed with a sound like thunder. The ground shook, cars flipped, windows shattered. Emily backed away, shielding herself. But the crystal in her chest pulsed, stronger, faster. It was calling, to her. The hidden network back at the barn. Dr. Horn watched their movements on a screen connected to the Kethran terminal. His eyes widened as lines of ancient symbols began forming across the map. "It's unlocking," he said. "She's triggering the global network. All across the planet, hidden Kethran devices. Buried under oceans, inside mountains, beneath, old ruins began to power up. The heart had found its keeper. Earth was waking up. The battle-turned Zarin was fast, stronger than ever. But his brother had absorbed power from dark energy cores across dozens of worlds. With each strike, the older brother taunted him. "You protect a world that cannot save itself." "They don't need to," Zarin growled. "They have her." Emily raised her hands. A shockwave blasted from her chest. The air glowed blue. Zarin's brother stumbled backward, for the first time. He looked surprised. "You gave her access?" he whispered. "No," Zarin said. "She earned it." A vision of the past, the heart, pulled Emily's mind into a vision. She saw Earth, thousands of years ago, visited by Kethrans. Not as conquerors, but as watchers. They planted seeds of knowledge, buried technology in sacred places, and left behind the heart. But they knew one day, darkness would return, and only a bonded pair, a defender and a keeper, could activate Earth's last line of defense. Zarin was chosen, but the keeper, that choice belonged to the heart. Emily gasped and dropped to her knees. When she opened her eyes, she whispered, "I know what I have to do." Emily Awakens. Emily stood up, her entire body glowing. The heart rose from her chest and floated above her palm. "I command the network," she said. Energy surged into the ground. The alien extractors exploded, all of them. In the oceans, hidden towers rose, creating protective shields around the continents. In the skies, satellites once thought dead activated and launched energy bursts at the motherships. Humanity had been given a weapon. Earth had its defender. The final clash. Zarin and his brother flew into the air, clashing again. The battle lit the sky like a second sun. Emily raised her arms. "Zarin." He heard her voice through the chaos. The crystal returned to her chest, and a beam of energy shot out toward him. He caught it, merged with it, and for one brief moment, his body became pure light. Zarin struck his brother with everything he had. There was silence. Then an explosion so bright, it turned night into day. The aftermath. Emily lay on the broken ground, breathing hard. Dust in her hair, blood on her arm. She looked up. Zarin stood there, weak but alive. His armor was cracked, his body bruised, but he was smiling. "You did it," she said, tears in her eyes. "No," he replied. "We did." Behind them, the alien fleet began to retreat. Without the command signal, they had no orders. Earth had survived. But deep in space, beyond the reach of Earth's defenses, a new council gathered. Alien leaders who had watched everything. In silence, they whispered to each other, "The heart has chosen. Earth is no longer a weak world. We must act before the next awakening." And one voice said quietly, "Send the signal. Begin Phase 2. The last stand. The battle was over. For now, Earth had survived its first true alien invasion. The sky had cleared. The warships were gone. Zarin's brother was defeated, his armor shattered, his body lost in the debris of a ruined skyline. But something lingered, an unease, a weight no victory could lift. Emily stood on the rooftop of the broken Capitol building. Her hands still glowed faintly, the heart of Kethra resting against her chest, silent now. The world below her was quiet, watching, waiting. Zarin joined her, his steps slow, his strength not fully returned. He looked at her, then at the horizon. "They're not done," he said quietly. Emily nodded. "I felt it too. When the fleet retreated, something else woke up. The Council of Silence far across the galaxy, in a hidden star system wrapped in shadows, the Council of Silence gathered. These were not Zarin's people. They were older, beings of pure thought and logic, watchers of the great cosmic balance. They had not interfered in 1,000 wars, but now Earth had become loud. The heart of Kethra had activated. That meant Earth was not just a planet. It was a beacon world. One of the few chosen by ancient forces to rise and join the galactic balance. And balance must be controlled. Earth under trial. 3 days later, Zarin and Emily were summoned, not by humans, but by the ancient beacon network itself. A silver portal opened in the forest near the old barn. It spoke not in sound but in symbols that only Zarin and Emily could understand now. Come. Earth must be judged. Emily turned to Zarin. Judged by who? By the ones who created the Kethra, he said, and by those who fear what you've become. The Ascension Gate. They stepped through the portal and arrived at a place that defied all laws. Space twisted into towers of crystal, stars folded into bridges, and creatures of pure light watched in silence. A large being, shaped like flowing silver wind, addressed them. The Defender and the Keeper. You have interfered with the natural order. Earth was to be harvested. It was marked as expendable. And yet, you have turned it into a fortress. Zarin stepped forward. I made my choice. Earth deserves to live, Emily added. No one decides a world's fate without knowing its people. Another voice echoed across the chamber. Then we must know. Let Earth speak. Voices of humanity. Through the heart, the Council accessed the emotions, memories, and lives of billions of humans. They felt fear, yes, but also love, courage, sacrifice. They saw doctors saving strangers, children planting trees, soldiers fighting to protect people they never met. And they saw Emily, a simple girl, choosing to protect a stranger from the stars, when no one else would. The silver being spoke again. Earth has chosen its path, but now it must defend it again. Emily frowned. What do you mean? Zarin's face darkened. They're sending a final test. The true enemy back on Earth. The sky changed once more, but this time the ships were not dark or silent. They were burning red, and they didn't come to conquer. They came to erase. The Kethra's oldest enemies, the Nullians, had awakened. They fed on stars, tore planets apart for energy. They saw life as noise, emotion as disease. They were drawn by the heart's signal. Their leader, a being of pure, for descended without a ship. He wore a cloak of shadows and eyes that reflected nothing. I am Oblivar, he said, standing above Earth's last command center. And your song has lasted too long. Emily's choice. Zarin wanted to fight, but the heart spoke to Emily. It showed her Earth's timeline, millions of years ahead, a future of peace, learning, expansion. If they survived today, but to unlock that future, she would need to sacrifice her humanity. The heart can destroy Oblivar, Zarin said, but it will cost you. Emily looked at her reflection. Hair, wild, eyes glowing faintly, hands trembling not with fear but with destiny. She took a deep breath, then whispered, Do it. The final battle. Emily rose into the air, lifted by the heart. Her body glowed like a second sun. Winds roared around her. Lightning struck the ground. Oblivar laughed. You are a spark, I am the void. But sparks light fires. Emily held her hands. Forward. The heart opened wide, revealing a shape not made of metal or light, but memory. It showed Oblivar the one thing he could not destroy. Hope. Oblivar screamed. The sky cracked, and Earth fought back. All the awakened Kethran towers joined together. Their beams struck the Nullian fleet. Zarin led the charge with the human forces. Emily's light became a shield around the planet. In one final pulse, the heart exploded in energy, not killing Oblivar, but locking him inside a timefold near Saturn. Trapped for now, the battle ended, but not without a cost. Emily fell from the sky, her light gone. Zarin caught her. Her eyes opened slowly. I'm still me, she whispered. Yes, he said, tears in his voice. But more. The new age won. Month later, Earth changed. Not by force, by truth. The United Nations revealed everything. Zarin, the heart, the invasion, the survival. Panic turned to awe. Fear turned to unity. For the first time, Earth was one world. Zarin and Emily became Earth's first ambassadors to the galactic network. New allies sent messages. Old enemies backed away. Hidden technology was shared. And Emily? She wore a ring made of starlight and carried a voice heard across galaxies. One night on a quiet rooftop, Emily looked at the stars beside Zarin. "Do you think it's over?" she asked. Zarin smiled. "No, it's just beginning." Far away in the prison fold near Saturn, Oblivar opened one eye and smiled. The end or a new beginning?